All right, as you know, if you are looking at an annuity, you know that you can be acronymed to death. What do I mean by acronyms? Well, there's the GLWB, there's the GMAB, there's the GMDB, and there's the GMIB. So what the heck do all these acronyms stand for? We're going to walk through this, but I want you to understand that most of these, with the exception of this one, most of these were designed to overcome the flaw of, I will call it, a retail annuity. And when I say retail, that means for the average investor like you that are watching this, for most people watching it, if it's an institutional annuity, when I say institutional, what I mean is if you work for a company, let's say you work for a utility company, and while you're working there, they were saving up for a pension for you when you retired, and when you retired, let's say at age 65, they said, you know what, we're going to give you $2,312 a month for the rest of your life, and your spouse survives you, we will give that spouse $1,156 a month for the rest of the spouse's life. What that company has done is they've taken that pool of money inside the pension that was designated for you, this portion of it right here designated for you, and what they did is they took that to an insurance company, and insurance companies are in the business of what? Of managing risk. Whether they're managing the risk on your home in case it gets struck by lightning, or they're managing the risk of life in case you die, or they're managing your health or your car, or all the different things they do. In this particular case, they were managing the risk of your retirement income and the risk that this payment, whatever they gave you, you could not outlive that. Meaning you started at age 65, and let's say this money, 2,312, the pot, the designated wedge here, let's say your life expectancy was 78 years old, and they figured, well, we can certainly afford to pay you $2,312 until you're age 78. Well, what happens if you live longer? Let's say, what happens if you live to age 85? Well, that's the risk. This right here, this risk that the insurance company is managing. So literally, when I say institutional, this company took this portion of your pension and they turned it over to an insurance company, and that was an institutional annuity. They annuitized the money. They annuitized the money, meaning they sent you a portion of your principal and your interest each month for the rest of your life. Okay? For years, annuities got a bad rap because people would accumulate their money during the savings years, and then when they wanted to take the money out, the money was annuitized, and sure enough, it's the old story of, I annuitized my money right here at this spot right here, and then the next month later, I was crossing the street and a truck ran over and killed me, and the insurance company kept all my money. My family didn't get anything. Okay? So that's where annuitization got a bad rap, and annuities by default got a bad rap from that. So what the insurance companies did is they wanted to address that. They tried to figure out, okay, can we manage this risk? Can we manage this risk without annuitizing the money? And the answer is yes, they can, and that's where several of these came up. So why don't we go through these quickly so you can understand the differences of them and if they would be an advantage for you. So let's just start with the first one, GLWB. Now, GLWB stands for Guaranteed Lifetime. That's what all these GL stand for. Guaranteed Lifetime Withdrawal Benefit. Guaranteed Lifetime Withdrawal Benefit. What this does is it permits you, the owner, to take annual withdrawals for life, even if the annuity account value, goes down to zero. Okay, so it's a form of the annuitization, but the cool thing about the GLWB is, let's just pick a number. Let's say you have $100,000 and you started this withdrawal benefit. Several years into it, you pass away, and let's just pick a number, that there was $70,000 left that had not been distributed to you. In the old days, under annuitization, the insurance company would have kept that. Under a GLWB, this would go to your heirs. Okay, so that's the big difference between a GLWB. It gives you that lifetime withdrawal benefit without annuitizing, and having the principal, if there is some and you die early, it goes on to your heirs. A GMAB is guaranteed minimum accumulation benefit. And what this does is it guarantees that the owner never receives less than a certain amount of your account value at some point in the future. Okay, so it's an accumulation benefit, not an income benefit. The other side of this would be the GMDB, which is guaranteed minimum death benefit. So the AB, accumulation, was accumulating while you lived at some future point while you lived. The GMDB is a death benefit, and this is, it guarantees the owner's beneficiaries, so your beneficiaries, your heirs, will never receive less than a certain amount for the death benefit at a stated point in the future. So in other words, the death benefit, so your account value is here on this side of the ledger, and your death benefit is here. So regardless of what the account value does, whether it goes up or goes down, the death benefit on its side of the ledger, it's doing some kind of stair-step activity for a value in the future for your heirs. So regardless of what the account value does, your death benefit operates on a separate side of the ledger. The last one is a GMIB, which is guaranteed minimum income benefit. Now this one is interesting in that it actually uses an annuitization, but an annuitization in the future. So what this guarantees is that the owner never receives less than a certain amount of income upon annuitization at some point in the future, at a stated point in the future. Now I'll tell you that of these four, 1, 2, 3, 4, the GMIB is probably the one that is used the least. I will tell you that a GMDB is used quite often for variable annuities, because in a variable annuity you have an account value that's going up and down, and some people like to have a predictable death benefit on the other side of the ledger. And by far the most popular of these is a GLWB, the withdrawal benefit, because people in retirement are looking to the future for income. They're trying to manage what kind of income they can have, and having some kind of predictability on what that number is gives them peace of mind. Now, obviously, all of these have some kind of rider fee. There's a fee associated with it. So you need to look at those rider fees inside the actual contract to make sure that you are paying for something you actually want. There's no point in paying for something that you don't need. Hopefully this helps, and don't get acronymed to death. Thanks for watching.